Welcome to RCTech. This is Ritesh Srinivasan. I've got many requests from students, freshers on how are data science projects implemented in the industry. In this video, I try to abstract and explain the data science project lifecycle in the industry. This is based on my 15 years of experience working on different data science projects in different research and development teams. If you are new here and if you like such content, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. So the key driver behind any data science project in the industry is a business goal or an use case. Right now, what is a business goal? Suppose if there are multiple business units in a company, or the company is providing service in a certain domain. Say for example, they are providing credit cards. Basically, they are in the banking domain or the finance domain, right? So they would want methods to identify credit card frauds. Now, if you take an example of a telecom company which is providing telecom services, they would want customer churn detection. Basically, which customers are going to leave this telecom network and move to another network. If you take an example of a semiconductor industry, they would want some camera-based defect detection, right? So there is a business need which comes from these business units in a big company. If you are a startup, you are trying to create your own solution. So there is always this business need. You need to develop a data science project to come up with a solution to help some end customer, right? So over here, I have talked about business units providing business goals, but it could also come from research departments within these big companies who want to try out novel technologies or who want to try out solutions which could help the company. For example, like in Google, you might have a research unit which looks at how can I improve Google search, right? Or for example, in Amazon, how do I improve customer experience when I'm trying to buy a product, right? So there could be research departments coming up with use cases, and they themselves would work, or the data science team themselves would work on these issues, right? Or it could be startups where you need to come up with a new solution. You are trying to innovate on some new solution using data science. So there is always this business goal or use case which actually drives a data science project. And it is also important that you need to identify what is the success or usefulness metrics. For example, in credit card fraud detection, it could be like how effective is this data science solution in detecting credit cards frauds compared to the current way of manually doing it. For example, in manual defect inspection versus an camera-based defect inspection, what is the improvement which is going to come from a data science project? So this needs to be kind of quantified over here. Like what is the target over here? So when you say improved face detection, would it detect 99% of the times better than the current solution, right? So that successful or usefulness metrics also needs to be kind of decided over here, or thoughts have to go into coming up with that success metric. So the people who will be involved over here are either business development managers, business concept architects, the business analysts, along with the data science team, product owners, right, the data analysts. So these are the people who will be typically involved in this stage, whereby you are trying to identifying a business goal or a use case. The next important phase in a data science project is data collection. A lot of time would be spent into data collection, because you need to identify what kind of data, right? Where is the data present? What is the type of the data? Whether the data is clean or noisy, right? You also require domain knowledge over here. That is where the subject matter experts would come into picture. For example, if I were to talk about the camera-based detection of a manufacturing defect in a semiconductor industry, then you need the support or you need the knowledge from the people who are doing the manual inspection of these semiconductor wafer boards or something to identify the faults. You need to identify what kind of data can be acquired over there. Is a camera already present over there? Is the camera correctly focusing on that board? What kind of images does it give? Whether it is clean or whether it is noisy, right? For example, what kind of data is present in the financial domain? Credit card transactions are present. For how long are they present? What is the customer profile? Where is the data? Is it in a relational database? What are the privacy concerns in accessing data? Can anybody access this data if they want to develop machine learning models, right? So this phase is entirely about data collection and understanding the data. Again, this requires a team from the business experts, from the subject matter experts, from the data science team, the data analysts or business analysts to sit together and understand the data. The next phase is data pre-processing. So what happens over here is that you have things like ETL transforms, which are extract, transfer, load, basically converting unstructured data to structured data. If you have data in an unstructured form, how to handle missing data, whether you will do imputation or you will do dropping of data, how much of noise is present in the data, right? What is the pipeline for processing this data? What is the order of pre-processing? For example, if you are talking about an image processing, right, a camera based detection of something, so what is the order in which data has to be processed? First, do you do smoothing? First, do you do denoising? Right, things like that. Then comes the important part of data augmentation. Suppose if you have less data, how can you get more data? How do you make it more robust? Right, for example, if you are using a camera based detection, can you actually rotate the images? Would the camera be rotated at times? Or there could be something, some obstruction in front of the camera, things like that needs to be identified over here. And then you would do the feature engineering, which is to extract features from this data. Right, now if you are doing deep learning, probably you will not do feature engineering. But if you are not doing deep learning, you will do some kind of feature engineering to extract features from the data which would be useful. Here is again where the domain experts and subject matter experts would come into picture, because they would be knowing more about the domain rather than the data science team. If the data science team has enough experience working on this domain, they would also know what is important, but the subject matter experts play an important role over here in explaining what features are important in the data. Right, so in this process, what you are doing over here is that you are building a data pre-processing pipeline, and now you are making your data ready for the next stage. Okay, so who are the people who will be involved? Again, data analysts, subject matter experts, business analysts, ETL engineers, data scientists also would be involved over here. Okay, so this is the data pre-processing stage. So the next stage is your model development or data analytics stage, depending upon what kind of solution you want to do. If it is just analyzing the data and visualizing them, then you will probably use some statistical techniques, or you do some kind of data analysis and then you try to visualize this data via, say, Tableau or via Power BI or some of these visualization tools. Right, so in the model development phase, it is very important, like depending upon the problem, you choose an appropriate technique. Now, how do you choose this appropriate technique? It either comes via experience of solving similar problems in the past, right? Or in certain cases, you would still do a literature survey for existing techniques. So you will see that, okay, in this kind of problem, what kind of solutions have people developed? Are there open source packages for these solutions? Are there already existing packages which can solve some of these problems, right? So you try to identify these things over here, and then it is also important how you split your data into test, train, validation data sets. How do you prevent data leakage? What is your model performance criteria over here, right? And once you have decided these things, you would try to come up with a baseline model. A baseline model may be something like, depending upon the problem, okay, my baseline is say 75% accuracy, or 75 F1 score of 0.75 or something like that would be a baseline model. So once you get a baseline model, you would then try to fine tune it to using different techniques to improve the accuracy to get it to the desired accuracy. During this process, it would be also wise to consult with domain experts on early results to see that whether the model you are developing, does it really make sense? Is it pulling up the features which they think are important to this problem, right? Because what happens is that explainability of the model also becomes important in the industry. You just cannot have a nice black box algorithm which gives out some results, but then you need to explain it to the end users, like how was this result achieved, right? So what typically happens in this process is that you come up with either a minimum viable product or a proof of concept development of a model, right? And depending upon the scale in which the company operates, depending upon the different process across different companies, you might also need to follow certain quality management system of the internal to the company when you are developing these models, right? And you should also think like how would you present these results of this model? How would the results be visualized, right? Is it via dashboards? Is it via say an Excel sheet where you are saying, okay, these are my customers and probably they would churn, they would not churn. So what kind of visualization do you want to use to present to the end customer? All these things happens in the model development phase where primarily data scientists, SMEs are involved. Maybe you would also talk to the business side of people. Okay. So the next phase is model validation. Now model validation is about validating your system. Okay, when I'm saying model over here, it could be even just a dashboard. It could be even a sophisticated model running and providing some predictions, right? So in model validation, what happens is that you need to validate the model with your end users, whether it is performing the task which they are expecting it to do. You will do some kind of beta testing. Your customers could be internal customers if you are developing a tool for internal usage. It could be for external customers. Again, you might need to follow QMS requirements. You need to do results visualizations. So this model validation phase also involves data scientists, subject matter experts, your business analysts, your business stakeholders. Right, so model validation is also an important phase in your data science project lifecycle, whereby again different teams would be involved. Maybe quality assurance teams will also be involved over here, to check whether what kind of results is this model giving you. Okay. Now that you have developed your proof of concept, you have shown business value, right? The next step is to actually productionize it and put it into deployment for end users, right? Or the project is going to go live. So this part is more like any other software product in the sense that you will do all phases of software development over here, like testing. You will do CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery, right? You probably this is managed by a data science or a product engineering team. This again depends on the scale of the organization. If it is a small startup, probably a team would do end to end. Whatever the phases which I have explained, they would do end to end. But in a large company, it is quite possible that the data science team only looks, at model development. They come up with only a POC, and then there is an dedicated engineering team, which again consists of, data science engineers, architects, testing, and everything to actually, and DevOps to actually productize the product and put it into deployment. This again varies from organization to organization. So as with any product, post deployment, you need to continuously analyze the results. You also need to check for model drift. So what is model drift? What happens that, if your real world data is different from your training data, okay, over a period of time, the real world data is changing, and then your models do not perform well as compared to how it performed earlier, right, on the test data. So in that cases, you may need to do iterative enhancements or upgrades. Okay, so for this, again, the data science or product engineering team, the data scientists, the subject matter experts, everybody would be involved. So this is like an iterative cycle. So post deployment, again, you may need to go to the data collection phase to see if, since the data has changed, what things needs to be changed, and again you follow the same life cycle. Okay, so this is about the data science project life cycle. Let me explain the data science project life cycle with an example. Okay, so this is an application which I worked long back in 2006. So here the idea is that can you develop a machine learning application, to do a social security number detection in a scanned PDF document. Okay, so this is a PDF image document. You have in the US, you have the social security number which follows a pattern of 3 digits hyphen 2 digits followed by 4 digits. Okay, so just like how there is Aadhaar card in India, so certain digits of this number should not be shown, they should be masked. So this is the this thing. So if you look at what is the improvement machine learning is bringing over here, currently at that time the process was manual, and so if there are 1000 documents, somebody has to go through these 1000 documents, identify these regions, and then mask them in the image editor, right? So how do you come up with the machine learning solution for this? So the business need was, can you come up with a machine learning solution which could do this task? Back in 2006, it was not even called as machine learning, it was called as automation, right? So let's go into the solution. So what is the next phase? The next phase is data collection. So here we wanted to collect a large collection of sample images, somewhere in the range of 10,000 to 50,000. We also wanted to capture the variety or different formats in consultation with the subject matter experts. Like, where and all in this document can this social security number appear? In what different formats can it appear? Can it be handwritten? Can it be, printed? Is there a keyword before the social security number? Right, and things like that. And we would also want to check the quality of scanned images, because then we need to determine what kind of pre-processing needs to be done on this particular set of images. So this was the data collection phase. So then we came up with the pre-processing pipeline, which I have not put over here, but the idea was to actually remove noise from these images, correct the orientation of these images, and improve the quality of the scanned images. Okay, so once that was done, then we need to do some image processing programs to actually segment the social security number region. So how could we do that? We could do that if this document OCR text was available. Then in the text we go and search for the keyword where it is present, and then we take a window around that region. If it is not present, then we need to go through an image processing module to do it, right? And then we had this social security number detection module, which internally used OCR to do digit recognition. And then you have this printed digit recognition, you have this handwritten digit recognition. And once you obtain the digits, then you have to mask. So this is the task which we had to implement using machine learning. So over here you have image processing to actually clean the images in the pre-processing pipeline. Then you can do it in two ways. You can either do OCR on the entire text to identify where the social security number is present, and you can use a text-based approach to actually identify the OCR, or you can use a image processing based approach to identify the digits. Okay. So here is an example of a handwritten digit recognition system explained in a particular paper at that point of time, where you use some image processing features to train images, you do pre-processing and feature extraction, and then you have an SVM classifier to classify these digits, and then you perform the same on the test images. Basically you get the support vectors, and then you you can take a decision based on Euclidean distance to classify a digit or non-digit. So in this way we were able to identify the digits over here, and then in the social security number, and then mask them. So let's look at the data science lifecycle perspective for this particular project of SSN number detection. So we started with the goal of detecting SSN with an accuracy of 98% for one county in scanned documents. Okay, so we collected the data, say we wanted images at least of at least 10,000 different images or scanned PDFs, right, or up to 50,000. Then we developed a model over here. We did pre-processing, we did all this data pre-processing, and then we developed a model. So we trained the model, we tested it on the test data. We got this, we started with 80% accuracy, and iteratively we increased it to 98%. We deployed the model, and we continuously monitored and optimized to see what kind of images are it missing. If it is missing, what are the tweaks which we need to do in our model over here to actually capture a social security number. So what could be the next iteration of this project? It is that it was developed for one county in the US. How about other counties? So we slowly started adding counties by county, because if there are variations between counties, then we obviously had to retune the model to take care of it. So we also had parallel model deployment county wise. So for each county or a set of counties we had a model which was deployed. For other counties we had other models which are deployed. So this is an idea of the data science life cycle. So a data science project is a huge teamwork. So basically you have different people having different roles for a successful data science project. You have data analysts, you have data scientists, you have research engineers, you have data engineers, you have architects, you have testers, right? So just like any software development project, you need a team over here, along with the subject matter experts and the domain experts who play a key role in the success of a data science project in the industry. I hope you find this video useful, and if you like this video, please press the like button. If you don't like this video, please provide me comments on which part needs to be improved. Please subscribe to the channel. Please press the bell icon so that you will get notified whenever I am creating a new video. See you in the next video. Bye for now.